All right, we are live and back at it, ladies and gentlemen, with the third episode of the What Matters podcast. My name is Jordan. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Alvaro.
Sir.
And here we go. I see UFOs on the board here, so we might be getting a little bit wild today. Where are we starting this off, Al?
Kind of wanted to start it with the incident that happened, I think like 2 weeks ago, beginning of February. The train crashing in Ohio. It looks really rough for Ohio right now. The air is super polluted.
It's coming our way.
Is it actually?
It's coming our way.
Is like the wind pushing it? I don't know that.
I've seen a chart.
That might be fun.
Yep, you brought that up, and I'm gonna have to find the chart. I seen a chart just yesterday of like the air quality moving west to east here, and it's supposedly coming our way. But again, it could be propaganda. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little concerning. The train was carrying this chemical called vinyl chloride, which is highly toxic. Obviously, it crashed. There was a big explosion, and then the people dealing with it decided to deal with the original explosion and the leak. They would add in some other chemicals and then burn them all, and that led to the creation of this toxic gas, which was actually used as a weapon, like a chemical weapon in World War I. So that's just floating above Ohio now. And you just said it's coming towards us, which is concerning.
So I mean, I guess depending on who you are, concerning that, as well as so you mentioned it was like a controlled burn, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a controlled burn. They didn't realize what would happen.
Yep, and then I actually heard that who owned like the freight, because it was like a freight full of the material, where it was going was I heard that BlackRock. I don't know if you're familiar with who BlackRock is.
I am.
So like they're the world's largest asset manager. They basically run the world. So they were allegedly like who owned the shipment. Like they're the ones who kind of made the call.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
it's interesting.
Yeah, the whole thing is interesting. I think like I don't know. In my opinion, it could be one of those black swan events where it's like, oh, look over here, what's going on? Well, over here, there's something else going on.
Yeah.
You know, that would ring the bell all too true of what's been going on for, forever. Basically, it's like a bad event happens and there's a worse event really going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple other things that I wanted to bring up that kind of tie into that whole idea of a black swan event. First one was the news of UFOs being found in Canada. I don't know how many times, like, there's going to be UFOs in the news, but like every time people are like so surprised, like, wow, there's aliens, there's UFOs. Like for the first time, like people act like they haven't been around forever. Like UFOs have been in the news for as my whole life, at least personally. I've always seen like UFOs, even if it was from conspiracy theorists, and now it's just like in the news that like people have accepted that UFOs are a thing. Like the fact that like the CIA documents got released, I think like 2 years ago with like proof, like factual proof that UFOs, however they wanted to define it, maybe it's not like actual aliens, but unidentified flying objects were a real thing, is wild to me because it just like, it hasn't changed anything. Like that news came out and everybody like freaked out for a week and then continued to move on with their lives,
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they did that. Didn't they do that during COVID?
Yeah, they did that right before COVID started.
Yeah, that's always kind of how it is. And like, and if if you look at the language, like in the word alien, like technically an illegal immigrant is an alien.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like it's funny because, and then they use words like extraterrestrial. Then kind of would be more like towards the like what we think of as like aliens. You know what I mean? And like
in the headline, UFO looks really nice, even though an unidentified flying object could just be a missile that someone sent over.
Could be a blimp. Yeah. Could be anything. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just right there, it's the language is how you like guide people. And, You know what I mean? And then that's exactly, what we're talking about. So then all of a sudden, I mean, you use words like UFO and it's like, holy shit, what's going on? And like, I mean, it's, obviously we're like in a World War III, right? Scenario. It seems like right now, like, and then they use words like UFO. Yeah, I mean, again, I just think it's a lot of like, look over here, look at this. You know what I mean? How can you get someone's attention? So Yeah, that is crazy. I actually didn't even hear about any UFOs in Canada. But I don't watch TV.
Yeah, I don't watch the news either. I see things on Twitter and I see things on TikTok
Yeah.
like that.
But Canada's in a weird spot right now to begin with. Like, they got rid of all their gold as well, which is weird. So
That is weird.
It seems like Canada's almost like surrendering like to some big world order.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, they've always been like super peaceful. They don't have a military, right? Or
I don't know.
just like
I don't know.
has Canada been in a war? I feel like
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they're like my mom's from Costa Rica, and I know they just don't participate in wars, which I think is smart because like
Well,
gonna get your country blown up.
yeah. Well, if you look at war, all war is a machine to produce money. So
Yeah.
when so the United States can create war with whoever they want to if they need to print a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
create a lot of dollars into circulation in the economy. That's usually when you see like wars happen. And if you look back at all the other wars, it's been just that, a huge uptick in money supply. What's it called? Have you seen Alpha Dog? It's a good movie with Shia LaBeouf. You should look up that. That's a good movie. But it's basically a whole movie. Have you seen The Big Short?
No, I don't think so.
Have you seen Don't Look Up?
No.
So it's funny because these movies that kind of like, they're always making movies about like what's actually happening, and it's just like plots. But Alpha Dog is a movie about what's the name of it? It's like the military industrial complex or something like that. Anyway, it's a huge business where like, you know what I mean, where they're selling guns.
Oh yeah, like the movie War Dogs.
Oh, War Dogs, what do I call it?
Alpha Dog.
That's a good big.
Yeah, no,
War Dogs.
I fucking love War Dogs.
Yes, War Dogs, exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Shia LaBeouf isn't in it. That was Jonah Hill and
Jonah.
what's his?
No,
There's another guy. I forget.
the guy who's doing the hand job.
Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Miles Teller and fucking Jonah Hill.
That's
Yeah,
the guy doing the hand jobs.
Yeah.
I bet the guy, the guy doing the massages. And the guy wanted to give him a hand job. That was funny. Yeah, so that movie, that explains a lot about war. I mean, it's just a huge business. War is just business, So like companies like places like Costa Rica and like why there's not much to offer. There's not much going on. There's not much of what's it called? An economy.
Yeah.
Like, the United States, like in GDP. There's not much GDP there. So they don't have a reason to get involved, but, Russia, China, America, it's like a power thing,
No, yeah.
And even the UFO, my crazy conspiracy is all these UFOs that are going around. Like, even the word UFO is like, I don't know. But I mean, is it just like, is it just something from China, like, or Russia that's just like, coming over? Like, if you just look at history, and just real history, and then just, does it repeat itself always? Maybe not, but usually it looks a lot like the past, and every time before some kind of world war was like unidentified objects coming over here, you know what I mean? And then the next thing that comes is like, war. So it's kind of like a way, it seems to me like just like puppet strings. It just seems like a way to like how you would get the mainstream ready for something like this, because it seems to me like you can just manifest just about anything with language, and you just walk people. You basically get the people to do the dirty work for you. You know what I mean? Like you just give them all the information of like what you want to happen, and then it can happen. You know what I mean? But if it just came out of nowhere, then it would be like the government's problem. But if you just like get enough civilians involved in it, then it just seems like everybody's problem. So that's my take on that.
Going back a little bit, the last like event that was like big in the news that I wanted to cover before we got into like the main part of this episode was the Rihanna halftime Super Bowl show. I know you're not big into football. I'm not even sure if you watched it.
Yeah, I saw the halftime.
Yeah, I think
a little fucking weird. I mean, in my opinion, it's just like, I don't know. It just seemed really strange to me. I was a pregnant woman, like dressed like the devil on a fucking stage, like grabbing her fucking vagina. Like, I just don't even see the point. Like, why not just? I don't know. It seems absolutely crazy to me. Nothing to do with, like, it just seems absolutely like nonsense. Like, let's just like stop beating around the bush. It seems absolutely crazy. Like, what kind of Satan fucking message was that anyway?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like read between the, I don't know, it just seemed crazy to me. What was your take on that?
It was her first performance in 7 years, so like it was like big news because Rihanna's a big artist.
Global icon.
Yeah, like
course.
Rihanna's fucking Rihanna. It's like if Beyonce went on hiatus and then came back. Like
exactly.
it was news, so everyone was really excited about it. I do think performance-wise, it was a good show. I think like symbolism-wise, it was pretty fucked up. Just like
Weird.
just the whole thing of like, first the show started, she was floating above everyone, just like everyone that's there. Like, I don't know, I don't want to go like too far into symbolism because I really don't know that much, but you can just tell it's like a power dynamic thing. Like, it's pretty evident, like that's what it
It was like a million
Yeah.
dudes in like
Yeah, yeah.
white.
Yeah,
Is it white there?
yeah, they were all
fucking
wearing white.
They all looked like
Yeah.
Lil Nas X. Oh,
Yeah, no, they did. Honestly,
You know,
they did.
that's a whole other. I think just like a whole other.
Yeah. But even the stage setup, it was set up in the shape of like whenever the stage was shown from like a wide angle, regardless of which side you looked at it from, it looked like an upside down cross. That's, I mean, if you're religious, like that's concerning to you. If you're not, then you're just like, oh, it's just a shape.
Yeah.
Like, but so yeah, just a lot wrong with it. Like you said, I think it's weird that we put a pregnant lady out there and she was acting pretty vulgar. Like, I know that's kind of what Rihanna does, but like still, you're about to have a baby.
It seems like a time and a place.
Yeah.
Like
It felt wrong.
yeah, it just felt like it just felt ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Now? Like what kind of? Yeah, I just didn't understand it.
But if you watch the TV broadcast, there was a part at the end of one of her songs. It was the last song, whatever song she closed out with. I don't remember what song it is. But right before the cameras cut on TV, but there's video recordings of people in person, and she was doing like the infamous Illuminati's like hand symbol, which okay, that's fine. She was doing the Illuminati's like infamous hand symbol, which is like the triangle with your hands. A lot of people were just saying like, oh, like that's just Rock Nation's like hand sign. That's Jay-Z's label. But like also Jay-Z, would be a part of that too. So I think that's just like a playoff that they did like specifically so that they could be like, no, it's just like the label's hand sign. Yeah. And I don't want to dive like too deep into like the Illuminati and shit like that, because I feel like everyone knows like it's a thing. Maybe it's not like a group where everyone like wears robes and like gets together and like plans fucking shit, but it could literally just be like a group chat of like the most powerful people in the world that just like talk, like that's powerful enough that it could be considered like a secret society where like fucked up things happen because they have that much power.
Well, I think I think it's fun going down that, but because I mean when you get into
it's fun at times, but like you can't stress yourself out about it too much because there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, and there is no like right or wrong.
No,
it just is what it is, and like secret societies are like, it's just funny. I mean, I think that's why Kennedy got killed, because he was talking about secret societies, and you're not supposed to really talk about that stuff. So when you get into like pop artists, like in these like global icons, and then you start like, I mean, even the word conspiracy theorist was just a made up word from the CIA to like.
So yeah, just be like, oh, these people are crazy. Like, you're just conspiracy theorists.
Exactly. So. No, I mean, I think that whole thing is, I didn't see that part. I think honestly, I probably just didn't watch much of it once I saw how just silly it was. Like, it just, it seemed absolutely nonsense to me. Especially like, I just don't know, like, as a mother, like, what I just don't know if, like, it just seems crazy to me that what I'm like, it's so hard because we need like a mom in here, because it's would a mom want your daughter? Like, I just don't know. Like, it seems so crazy. Like, would you want your daughter? Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to go deep into that. It's like, I don't even know what to say about that. It's like, I just couldn't imagine being like, go fucking, like, go shake your shit. Like, go fucking, go grab that coochie in front of all those people. Like, you show them. That's woman power right there. Like, you go get that girl. Like, that's Rihanna. That's a boss right there. Like, and it's like, I guess, like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know, you know, like, that's just like, to me, would be like Andrew Tate going up there on the stage and being like, let me piss on this girl, like, fuck this, like, just like, every woman would be like, that's fucking ridiculous, like, you know, like, that's crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the obvious over sexualization or sexual exploitation of a pregnant lady, regardless of who it is, like the fact that it's Rihanna doesn't matter. Just of anyone like that, you're about to have a child, like the purest, most innocent form a human can be, and you're still acting super provocative in the biggest stage possible to the biggest audience you can possible.
Yeah, that's it. You hit the nail on the head. Exactly. Like, regardless of who you are, like, yeah, at that point, that's like exactly like, why not just, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm not doing it. Like, or like, I'm pregnant. I was gonna do it, but I'm pregnant. Like, you know,
that
not
makes
time.
I feel like that makes way more sense. But what's up, guys? Want to take a quick second here to give a shout out to one of our sponsors of the pod, Pura Vida Cleaning. As a family-owned and operated cleaning company based out of southern Massachusetts, Pura Vida Cleaning has been providing exceptional service for over 20 years. They're dedicated to providing the best cleaning service around, and their commitment to excellence shows in the jobs they do. Whether you need a one-time cleaning or ongoing service, Pura Vida Cleaning is the team to call. So why settle for anything less than the best? Call them at 617-331-2612. Pura Vida Cleaning, where cleanliness meets perfection.
Yeah, to wrap it up, halftime show was pretty rad. It was pretty good.
Honestly, I mean, Rihanna's singing is amazing, so I didn't hate it. I was watching it with my girlfriend and some friends, and like they all enjoyed it. Like all the girls in the room were like, "Oh my god, fucking it's Rihanna, she's finally back." And like the whole time I was like, yeah, like the singing is good, but like I'm kind of uncomfortable. Like you're obviously pregnant. And,
yeah, it's uncomfortable. Like, should I be looking at you? That was the thing.
You know, like obviously Rihanna's a gorgeous woman, but like you're pregnant. It's different, you know?
Yeah, and and that's the thing.
It's just so perverse.
That's the exactly. Like, I just only associate like grabbing your like cooch like that with like strippers. Like, that's just like seems.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to mention that too. Like, stripping is seemed as a shameful thing. Like, it's been more accepted as like time has gone on. But like, look back like 5 years, like no one was proud to be a stripper, and now we're flaunting a pregnant lady in front of the biggest audience possible.
Essentially doing a
pretty much doing like a striptease the whole time.
Exactly.
Like, that, I don't know. That's just, it's fucking crazy to me that like we've gotten to the point where that's accepted and normal, and like people are proud to like just be super. Like, I always thought sex was something that's like, it's your private life, it's completely separate. Whatever you do, like you do in your own free time, but like don't be super open about it, because like it's supposed to be like, it is a little taboo, because it's like it's the most intimate thing you can do with another person, and it's supposed to be private, and people are just publishing it everywhere now.
Yeah, you think of it as like an expression of intimacy.
Yeah.
Not a public outreach.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like now.
Yeah.
And like to associate that with stripping, you know what I mean? It's like just that, like, oh, like I want to get rewarded for taking off my clothes. I'm going to get rewarded for flaunting this body. You know what I mean? I'm going to be rewarded for sexually arousing you. That's the job of a stripper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's became like a public thing. And it's translating all the way down to like young girls, because at a time, and it was like perfect time. And because you have all these girls, you know, you're 21 and all these girls are 21 and they knew Rihanna the past 10 years growing up. They grew up with Rihanna from 10 to 20. And she was this young, powerful, up and coming star. And now you're putting her up there for these 21-year-old girls that are almost getting ready to the age to reproduce.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just in theory, right? Now they're 21.
Like, naturally. That's
exactly.
Like,
naturally. No, now they're moving into their time of like reproducing. And, you put a lady on stage dancing like a stripper that is reproducing. Oh, it's totally normal. And then you see like these young women with even these young daughters like on TikTok dancing, flaunting, like and getting sexualized so even earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier.
The age that people get into pornography, fucking sex, has just gotten younger and younger and younger, and it's fucking gross, honestly. Like, I remember when I was in high school or like middle school, even like the people that were older than me that I would talk to, or even like some of the teachers, they'd be like, I can't believe like how you guys act like now. Like you guys are so, specifically with the way girls dress. Like it was like, oh, you girls dress so like promiscuous, you know, now. Like back in my day, like the girls looked like, when I was 12, the girls looked like they were 12. That's like what they would say. Now, like the girls my age, when I was in middle school, people were already wearing makeup, fucking push-up bras. Everybody was trying to be an adult already because that has been pushed onto us so heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. You know, at 13, you like, are you 17? Are you know what I mean? You have no idea. And by the time like you're 16, you're like, are you 25? You have no idea. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's like, it's so sad because the faster you race to that, like, the faster like you're seeing these people lose themselves, in my opinion. You know, so
They don't get to actually be a kid.
and that's the thing, exactly. Like, there's beauty and innocence in being a kid, you know, like, and yeah, to me, it seems exactly. It's almost like you start chasing the devil.
No, yeah.
You know, and
It's just, it's sad to see that innocence get taken away earlier and earlier and earlier.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, that was the last like big thing that was like, oh, like they're really pushing this in like the news and the media. Like, I wonder what's like every time they push something like that fucking hard, or like there's constantly different like wild stories just popping up. It's like, I'm sure there's like some fucked up things like going on that just don't want people to know about. And I think right around the same time as the Ohio train crash and the Super Bowl, in the news, like they announced that the trial with Jeffrey Epstein, they were going to release, or they were planning on releasing some of the documents that had a list of 167 names. Those are unnamed people in the document. They're all classified as John and Jane Does, which is just like how they protect like those people's their identity. But yeah, 167 people. They're still pending the release. It's not released yet, but they announced that those would come out at some time, right in the mix of everything else that was going on. And I didn't hear about it until probably like 3 days ago, honestly, and it happened over 2 weeks ago. And that I remember when the Epstein case first happened. When Epstein didn't kill himself was like hashtag or whatever. One, it only lasted like a month or maybe even like a week, like on Twitter, that people were like, oh my God, Epstein, like pedophile, kid trafficking, like this is horrible, the worst thing ever, like shut down all the celebrities, fucking cancel everyone. And then everyone just continue on with their normal life like it didn't happen. Now this list of people that definitely were a part, like whether they were witnesses or like employees of Epstein or like actual perpetrators, they announced that it's going to come out soon, and no one's really talking about it. Like, it's been swept under the rug.
Yeah, that is
so well.
Yeah, that's the saddest case, because I mean, for me, if I had a child, I just couldn't imagine like that's just getting swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, for us, we don't have any kids, like, and it's still like, it's completely, absolutely bananas that's not like, you know, like, public enemy number one. Like, we should figure this out right now, because if what like you hear is even a quarter, even 5% true, then society should come to a screeching halt, and we should figure this out right now. Because if that is true, then that means every single celebrity, every single person that you look up to, and that's the thing right there, every single person that's put in front of your children and the people in society as like leaders, as people of influence, are all child molesters. They're all pedophiles, you know? And like, if that doesn't like slap you in the face that every single thing around you is fake, then I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, literally, if that was only 5% true, then the whole world should come to a screeching halt, and that needs to be accounted for, because that's the youth of our nation that we're talking about. There is no future without the conversation of children, and the conversation of like child pornography and like it's just all, it's like completely insane to even think about that. That's not like, again, public enemy number one. But as society shows, that gets swept underneath the rug. And just like the UFOs, I mean, it's all just kind of coincides at the same time. I think, like, when you look at problems like this, you got to look at, like, what they're doing and not what they're saying. You know what I mean?
It's honestly disappointing that everyone as a society's attention span has gotten so dumbed down to the point that they can release something like this and you'll just forget about it in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like it won't become public enemy number one. It never will, because no one can focus long enough to be like, oh, we should actually get together and do something about this.
Yes, exactly. Unless, you know, like it was unless it's your own kid, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, like,
you'll see it and you'll be like, oh, that's horrible. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
But
Hashtag.
it doesn't affect me.
Yeah. A nice little hashtag real quick.
Oh, I love those so much. Just like, oh, praying for you. I'm praying for you guys. The school that got showed up this week again. I'm praying for you guys. Prayers to fucking wherever. I can't think of anyone, but
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. That, that's just like so crazy. It's like it's and it does come down to the attention span. That's the biggest thing. It's the fact that, like, well, all you got to do is just, you literally might stop and be like, holy shit, and share it with somebody, and then keep scrolling to the next thing. You know what I mean? And then 3 posts underneath that, there's something else.
Yeah, I get shit like that from my friends all the time. Like, I get probably 3 messages a day, just like, yo, you see this? Like, yo, you see this? I'm like, no, like, fucking stop sending me like the news. I don't want to see the news.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the news in probably 10 years.
I think the news is the worst thing for you. If you were never like meant to hear all the horrible shit that's going on in the world all the time. That's just gonna cause so much anxiety and unwellness. Just being like, oh, the world's the most fucked up place ever. Like, all this horrible shit is going on. I'm never gonna be able to find happiness because I'm constantly being fed this negative shit.
I was gonna say that you're being fed it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just constant negativity from the media.
That is
you're just consuming it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is your world. Your world is the news, And I mean, and it's sad because, like, when, like, our grandparents were young, like, it was like the news, like, hey, it's gonna be a tornado tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, you might want to know, like, hey, make sure you put the news on. Hey, like, there could be something going on.
Yeah. Something that could actually benefit people instead of just scaring everyone.
Oh, I mean, that's what it is. Look around. I mean, you have a nation full of fear, and you can guide them in any way you want. That's how you walk the sheep over to the fucking, the killing, the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, fear is such a powerful tool.
It's the most powerful tool, hands down. I think we look around, and, like, yeah, it roots to every single thing. But to not be able to even talk about something like the Epstein thing has just been like, and it's just still like, doesn't matter, I'm still watching Netflix, you know what I mean? Did you see there's a new movie out? Oh, did you see the new Breaking, or did you see the new fucking Yellowstone or something like that? Like, you're like,
I mean, it's sad, but that's just how our how our society is.
That's just what it is. Exactly. That's just what it is. And it's just so bad that it's like, it's the people who have children, like, that should be worried about this, like, it's just crazy. So if they're not worrying about it, then who the fuck is gonna worry about it? You know what I mean? Like, if the parents aren't concerned about this, then who the fuck is gonna be concerned about this? You know what I mean? The kids, like, no, I mean, it's how this all happens isn't like, it's so much deeper. It comes from the young girl that's, like, overly sexualized, and then wanting to go and be sexy and flaunt your stuff and get around the right people and feel like you need to be somebody, so you go to these parties with prestigious people, and then next thing you know, you're exactly what we're talking about. You're on Epstein's island.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. It's never like, it's not like anyone who wakes up and is like, I want to be a part of this. You know what I mean? I'm going to be sex trafficked today. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's probably literally a nightmare for those girls, but they don't realize, like, the dangerous positions they're putting themselves in, or, like, the ideas that have been fed to them. Well, are just, like,
so deep.
You know what I mean? It's so deep. Yeah. And it's like, it's so much deeper. And it's like, the lady there, Giselle, the Maxwell there, she's still around, right? Like, she's in prison. She's in prison? Yeah.
I don't think they killed her.
Yeah. Which is surprising to me.
She killed herself.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is like, how the fact that she's even still alive is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me, because where does she go with this? Like, she's just gonna rot in prison for the rest of her life to, like, cover the whole thing? I don't know. And I mean, there's just so many people that were involved in that, like, you don't, you can't even open up that book of worms. You can't even, because it's everybody. You know what I mean? It's everybody, because that's the sickness of power, is when people get enough power and you can't have, you money isn't even real, you know? And it's like, if you have all the money and you have all the power, it's like, that's where, you know,
I mean, what do you get a man that has everything? You know, you get him what you're not supposed to have. Yeah. What you shouldn't have, what everybody agrees you can't have. And with our society, that is kids, the purest form of innocence. You can't have them.
Exactly. I mean,
That's what they're chasing.
that's it. I mean, like,
Have everything else, you know?
exactly. All right, guys, just jumping on here real quick to say a thank you to one of our sponsors, the Why Not Co. Why not go chase your dreams, huh? All right, guys, just a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, East Coast Cultivation. If it's going to be green, if it's going to be some good tree, it's got to be from East Coast Cultivation, baby. Quick shout out to one of our main sponsors, Nova Farms, setting the standard in cannabis here in Massachusetts. What a sad truth that is. I mean, unfortunately, you know, it's just like the society of power that we live in, whether it be whether that be a financial situation, like a Wall Street situation, where like the race for power, and then you just keep following the money to the most elite and powerful men in the world. And just to Alvaro's point, what do you get? The man that has everything. You can't get him shit, so he steals souls, you know, and that's the whole game here. Is like, it's a race for consciousness. It's like they're zapping consciousness, and that funnels down to the youth, and you steal the youth and the innocence, and that's what you steal when you have everything and you want the power. You need the youth as well, and you dive down the deepest of the gnarliest holes, and it's like, that's, I mean, fucking children.
And when you say like selling your souls or stealing consciousness, it's not like you have this machine that like goes in and like takes your soul out and puts it in a fucking bag. It's just the acts that you do and the things. It's more the thoughts that they could implant in your brains, you know? And selling your soul really isn't like, you're not actually physically signing a contract and handing it over to the devil for money. It's not like, sign this 10 million, boom. It's like, it's the breaking down of your morals and your values, doing things that you said you would never do, that your whole life you're like, I would never do this, giving up things that you truly love and that are actually important to you for whatever it is you desire. That's what selling your soul actually is.
Yes. Yeah. Touche. And with that, my friends, we wrap up the third episode of the What Matters podcast. Mr. Jordan, Mr. Alvaro, logging off.
Thank you for listening.